short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
Andrea, we just got this in literally 2 minutes ago, but Fox News can confirm that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead.
In peaceful times, leadership looks easy, speeches are polished, always scripted, diplomacy sounds reassuring, and the world feels stable. But history doesn't judge leaders in peaceful times. History judges leaders in moments of crisis, when decisions carry consequences that stretch far beyond today.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
The recent strikes involving Iran and the United States and Israel are one of those moments. A moment where leaders must make decisions knowing the outcome could shape an entire region. The strikes on Saturday and so far have targeted Iranian military infrastructures and leadership networks. Iran responded with missiles and drone attacks across the region. It showed that Iran is willing to just attack all around it in a 360-degree method. Within hours, the situation had shifted from tension to confrontation. These are the moments where leadership stops being a display, a costume, because in reality, every option carries risk. In leadership, it's easy to demand action, and it's easy to demand restraint. But real leadership sits in between the uncomfortable space between those two extremes. Leaders must ask questions much people never face. If we act, what happens next? If we wait, work grows in silence. Now, for Trump's and Israel's actions, it's easy to criticize this. If it goes wrong, it's a bad decision. If civilians are caught up in the crossfire, it's a bad decision. If the outcome generally goes bad, Americans will disagree with it. If it happens to be good, Americans will conveniently say it's a good thing. In life, sometimes it's important to grab the bull by the balls, so to speak, early on. And in war and military confrontations and the historical observation and look at military wars, things like preemptive strikes, knowing your enemy, understanding that the human mind isn't just some sort of peacenik, though everyone's a hippie and wants peace, that sometimes it actually requires grab the bull by the balls early on and hit hard and preemptive strike to curb future danger. These are actually the hard decisions that have to be made. It's easy to look from our lovely glass houses in the West that we see practically no threat whatsoever on a daily basis. It's easy to look from here and look at the hard decisions that are made in foreign regions. What we also don't understand here, that these foreign regions can be very different to our way of life. Their mindsets, their power plays, their power hunger is very different to what we have. It was no secret that Iran was attempting to build nuclear facilities. It was no secret that they were trying to enrich uranium up to the point in order to build weapons. Now you may say to me, well, in the past it was claimed from the 90s, 2000s that we're doing this and nothing came of it. That's because in countless times they've been stopped. Strikes from Israel and other countries in the region have stopped this. But it was close with intelligence that they were getting closer to this method. Iran is the head of the octopus. It controls proxy terrorist groups across all of the Middle East. From the 80s, it has killed and named many US citizens from the embassies, kidnappings, killings, was involved in the Afghanistan war, funds all the proxy groups, very much is responsible for a lot of the havoc across the Middle East. These are people that you do not want to have nukes. And it requires strong leadership to have the balls to make the move that will be condemned by the whole world to actually strike first and get the job done. That is true mental strength. The cost of hesitation. Throughout history, hesitation has sometimes prevented catastrophe. But in other moments, hesitation has allowed danger to grow. You see, the challenge for any leader is recognizing which moment they are in. And this leads us on to the United Kingdom's positions. Keir Starmer. The United Kingdom chose more of a cautious approach. Prime Minister Keir Starmer declined to involve Britain directly in the initial strikes, focusing instead on defensive operations and protecting British personnel in the region.
The United Kingdom was not involved in the initial strikes on Iran by the US and Israel. That decision was deliberate. We believe that the best way forward for the region and for the world is a negotiated settlement.
To some observers, that decision reflects careful restraint. But to others, it appears as a hesitation in the face of escalating conflict. It's convenient to sit on the fence. It's convenient to play peace. But sometimes, again, true strength and true leadership requires decisions. But strength isn't always loud. Strength in leadership is often misunderstood. It isn't always loud and it isn't always immediate. Sometimes strength means acting decisively. Other times it means resisting the pressure to act too quickly. Make you move too quickly, show your hand too quickly. In military terms, that means disaster. And pressure from every direction grows. Modern leaders operate under intense pressure. Allies demand support, critics demand restraint, citizens demand security. Every decision is decided within minutes. But leadership isn't about avoiding criticism. It's about accepting responsibility for decisions that may only be judged years later. History rarely remembers the comfort of a decision. It remembers the consequences. But the reason these moments matter isn't just geopolitics. It's what they reveal about human decision making under pressure. In leadership, in work, in family, life, the same principle applies. Avoiding hard decisions rarely removes the problem. It only delays it. Procrastination will cripple and damage you. Adapting strength and responsibility is the way. Strength is often imagined as force, but real strength is something quieter. It is the willingness to confront reality, to accept responsibility, to make decisions knowing they may not be popular. It's the meek shall inherit the earth. The potential for power, the potential for danger, but the choice not to use it, and the choice to put yourself into something greater. Because in moments of pressure, leadership is revealed. Not by words, but by choices people are willing to make. In the upcoming days and weeks, we're going to learn a lot about this war. We're going to learn a lot about also people in the region and how others in our own countries right now perceive the outside world and how weak and how strong certain minds are. And how people within your own country, the weak men, will unravel and destroy your country completely. And why it's actually the strong men making the unpopular but hard decisions that have the eye on the ball. They know that foreign entities will power play. They're the people that's protecting your countries and making these tough decisions. I think real strength is strategic. It is the preemptive strikes. It's understanding, getting your head into the space of a historical, evolved human, understanding that the West isn't the world. Outside powers in the Middle East actually still have a very much colonial and power-grabbing mindset. And we need to protect what we have, because what we have right here is infinitely important. It is the most miraculous thing to have happened in all of human history. What we have in the West right now, the equal rights, the structures, the systems, is the best thing ever to happen in humankind. And we need to pay really close attention to it, and we need to fucking protect it.